Hi everyone, my name is Amber and I am here to talk about foster care services. So, the policy issue that I am going to be speaking about tonight is extending foster care services past the age of 18. So, as many of you know or don't know, most of the children who are in foster care come from extremely difficult backgrounds. Child abuse, sexual abuse, being neglected, being uncared for in the sense that they have family around, but they're not taking care of them. That's what neglect would fall into. Also, I've seen where children are just left to basically care for themselves because their parents aren't around. So, again, that would be a part of neglect. So, the reason I want to be able to have foster care services extended past the age of 18 is based on the following challenges. And some of these challenges that I want to speak about are these individuals have a disconnection from supportive adults. They have a disconnection from services that are supportive as well as socioeconomic support. Some of the problems that these foster care children who reach age 18 are more likely to experience are homelessness, unemployment, unplanned pregnancy. They are more likely to be involved in the legal system. They are more likely to be involved in substance abuse, and they also are more involved in lacking health care. The statistics on this that I have are in 2005 there were 24,407 foster youth that had aged out of foster care. So now in the year of 2019, there have been 23,000 children that have aged out of foster care. So as you can see, it's usually around between 20,000 to 25,000 throughout the last 15 years for children who have aged out of foster care. Unfortunately, children aren't always adopted. The goal for these children usually is to reunify with their parents, but in the case that they can't be reunified, then they are put up for adoption, and that would be their permanency plan. But if they don't get adopted, then they stay in foster care until they're 18 years old, and then they age out. And at that point, they are expected to basically become adults and learn how to live life independently. So, because of the neglect and the abuse that these children have gone through, developmentally, they are not where they need to be. They do not have the appropriate skills to be able to obtain a secondary education, employment, be financially able to care for themselves. That's why a lot of them become homeless, and because they don't take up a job, or they don't attend college or like a secondary education of some sort. More statistics that I wanted to provide to kind of give you guys some background information on children in the foster care is that after reaching age 18, 20% of the children who are in foster care will become instantly homeless. 1 out of every 2 foster kids who age out of the system will have gained some type of employment by the age of 24. There's less than a 3% chance for children who have aged out of foster care to earn a college degree at any point in their life. 7 out of 10 girls who age out of foster care will become pregnant before the age of 21. The percentage of children who age out of foster care system still suffer from the direct effects of PTSD, and that percentage is at 25%. Another statistic that's provided is that 8% of the total population in the United States is represented, reports that there's abuse that are given to authorities in the United States. So in other words, 8% of the total population of reports made on abuse relates to that for children who enter into the foster care system. So the big thing I want to argue here is that children who are in foster care have gone through these extremely hard circumstances. where they are unable to be able to care for themselves. They enter into the foster care system where they do get like the support, the temporary support that they need up until the age of 18. But by letting these kids go, or like telling them basically bye once they turn 18, we're setting them up for failure as opposed to setting them up for success. They developmentally don't have the background or the skill set to be able to become functioning members of society, because they don't have all the necessary tools that are given to them, whether it's development or being able to know how to like acquire a job or apply for college, or just access the resources that somebody who doesn't come from a traumatic background would be able to do so by themselves or with a support. From the other perspective, or the other side, people believe, or that, not people necessarily, but like what the argument is that children or youth who have reached age 18 should be let out, or they should stop services after the age of 18, is that there's not enough funding. So in other words, there's not enough funding to keep these children in foster care past the age of 18. And by allowing them to stay in foster care past age 18, they are taking away funding or taking away spots for other children who are involved or needing to come into foster care. The second argument is that these children are in fact 18 years of age, and that therefore they should be able to care for themselves. So developmentally, like I said before, these children are not where they need to be. The brain is not physically developed because of the trauma and the abuse that these children have endured. It's actually caused developmental delays in the brain. And based on that type of information, those statistics, children in fact aren't exactly 18 years of age, and therefore they should be allowed to stay in foster care past the age of 18. By allowing these children, or allowing this youth, I should say, to stay in foster care past the age of 18, we are going to be able to set them up for success, be able to give them more of a chance to be able to acquire the skills that they need, such as resources, social support, economic support, and also providing them with some psychoeducation on what it is that they need and able to obtain such goals. The mental health that some of these kids or youth, again, have deal with, and I wanted to talk more about this, states that nearly 80% of children who are in foster care suffer from a significant mental health issue. And some of these mental health issues are PTSD, panic and anxiety disorders, major depression, and or drug and alcohol abuse. So based on just these mental health issues alone, you can see that youth who are in foster care are going to need significant support. And if they're getting that from the time that they enter into foster care up until the age of 18, that's going to be something that's helping them while they're there. But what happens to them after they turn 18 years of age? You can't necessarily state that these kids, with all the long-term trauma that they had endured as children, are going to be able to fight for themselves and be able to advocate for themselves, because they just don't have the skill set to do so. So this is why I am advocating for the policy issue that children who reach the age of 18 should in fact be allowed to receive foster care services past the age of 18.